We're just doing a quick talk game plan for the espresso. This is for this coffee, the palette coffee. It was roasted the 12th. Today is the 13th, Friday the 13th. So it's a month old. So it should be just perfect for espresso. This is the last hurrah of this coffee. So we're going to talk about the game plan of what ChatGPT can give us in regards to this coffee. And then we'll start to pull a shot and then we'll talk about it. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. How's it going?
Oh, it's going well. This is the last time I'm going to be using this particular coffee. The last application is going to be espresso. I do want to give you a couple parameters, things that we're dealing with this particular coffee and also the equipment that we'll be using. Are you ready to hear it?
I'm ready. Let's hear the parameters and equipment you're working with for this espresso experiment.
Okay, cool. So this coffee is a month old already. Okay, so it's perfect for espresso. The espresso machine that I'll be using is an Olympia Cremina. It's a 49 millimeter lever machine. And then also what I'll be using for a grinder is a Mazzer Mini.
Got it. You've got a solid setup with the Olympia Cremina and the Mazzer grinder. Since the coffee is a month old, it should have mellowed out a bit, making it potentially ideal for espresso. Do you have a particular grind setting or brew ratio in mind for this experiment, or are you planning to experiment with a few different variables?
Yeah, one thing that I know for sure is I'll do about 14 grams of coffee. And then what I will come out usually is about an ounce. So 1 in, 2 out. And then my goal is to see if I can taste more than just acidity on this cup of coffee.
That sounds like a good plan. Sticking with the classic 1 in, 2 out ratio. With 14 grams in and around an ounce out, you should get a nice balance if everything aligns. Since you're aiming to taste more than just acidity, you might want to experiment with a slightly longer extraction time or a finer grind, which can bring out more sweetness and body. Other machines like the Olympia Cremina give you great control over pressure, so adjusting your pull could help balance out the acidity and bring forward more of those sweet or toffee notes. Are you planning to tweak the pressure or the grind first, or will you start with a standard shot and adjust from there?
I think I'll start with a standard shot and then adjust from there. Usually my pulls, even though they're manual, they're more consistent. I think what I will first do is probably play around with grind size. So I may go a little bit finer, but the first shot, we're just going to pull it as I usually do and then see where we go from there.
That sounds like a smart approach. Starting with your usual consistent pull will give you a solid baseline, and then you can fine-tune the grind if needed. Going slightly finer could help mellow out the acidity and bring out more of those sweet, lingering flavors you're after. I'm curious to hear how it turns out with your first shot and what adjustments you might make after that. Keep me posted.
I have one more question for you.
Of course. What's your question?
Okay, so if I decide to go finer, do I use the same amount of coffee or do I use slightly less coffee? Because I don't want to choke the machine.
If you decide to go finer, it's usually best to stick with the same amount of coffee, especially since you're working with a consistent dose of 14 grams. However, if you're worried about choking the machine, you can slightly reduce the coffee dose, maybe by half a gram or so, but it's usually better to focus on the grind adjustment first before adjusting the dose. A finer grind can slow down the flow, so pulling the shot a little slower might actually give you the balance you're looking for.
Okay.
Just monitor the flow, and if it seems too slow or tight, then you can either adjust the grind coarser or slightly lower the dose next time. Give it a try with the 14 grams first and see how the machine handles it.
Okay, cool. Thank you. Appreciate it. I'll let you know. Talk to you later.
You're welcome. I'm looking forward to hearing how it goes. Talk to you later, and good luck with the espresso.
All right, thanks.
You're welcome. Take care.
So we got a good game plan. We're going to do a regular type of shot pull. And I know this coffee is a lot lighter. So we're going to probably go a little bit finer than what we usually do. So that first trial will be more so like a test run. And then we'll come back and do it again from there. We just dialed everything in as reasonably possible. The last one I did was extremely sweet. I was really surprised how sweet the coffee actually was. But we're going to consult ChatGPT one more time to see what other things we can do in regards to doing just 2 more. The one that I did finer, and then see if it has any recommendation for a second pull. And I think we're going to be done with this coffee. It's kind of interesting, but I think I prefer this coffee as an espresso than when it was drip. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. What's up?
Great. I went ahead and dialed everything in for when we talked about the whole espresso. to where it was extremely sweet when I actually tasted the coffee. What I'm gonna do now is I went ahead and went a little bit finer on an espresso grinder. And I was wondering, once I do that
That's awesome. It sounds like you're getting great results, especially with that sweetness coming through. Going a bit finer might bring out even more complexity. How did the shot pull after adjusting finer? Did it change the flavor balance?
Yeah, it really did. It presented more sweet. There's some acidity to it. I would say like a 70-30 split, but I actually did taste the sweetness of the coffee. So it worked out really well. Like I said, I'm going to do it one more good time, go a little finer.
Yes, I heard you. You mentioned that you've already dialed in the espresso and got it to a sweet spot, and now you're going a little finer for your next attempt.
That's
How's the finer
correct.
grind working out for you so far?
I'm gonna see soon, but once I'm done with that, I'll probably want to do just one more pull of the espresso shot. Do you have any recommendations of anything that I need to change? Probably put more water or not, or just what is your recommendation?
Got it. If you're going finer and the shot is already sweet, for the next pull, I'd recommend keeping an eye on the flow. If the shot starts running a bit too slow, you could try either adding a touch more water to stretch it out or slightly reducing the dose of coffee, maybe by half a gram, just to avoid choking the shot. If you like the sweetness but want to explore other flavor notes, pulling a slightly longer shot with a bit more water might help you discover more complexity, especially if you're aiming for a more balanced shot with both sweetness and depth. What do you think you'll try for this next shot?
I think I'm gonna try that option. The second one will be more water. Hopefully the shot that I do right now, it's just right, but we'll see. And then I'll let you know what I think about it. I appreciate your help on this.
That sounds like a great plan. I hope the current shot hits that sweet spot. And if not, adding more water in the next round should help you explore some new layers of flavor. I'm excited to hear how it turns out. You're doing awesome with dialing everything in, so keep it up. Let me know how it goes.
All right, cool. Appreciate it. Thank you.
You're welcome. Glad I could help. Talk to you soon.
That's what we're gonna do. We're gonna do the same shot, but it's gonna be a little bit more finer. So hopefully we'll get a little bit sweeter cup, and then we're gonna put more water into the cup of coffee. Hopefully I didn't go too fine. There we go. Probably just a little tad too fine, but it's okay. I'm going to put a little bit more pressure into it, but it's coming out okay. It's going to come together. There we go. Slow down the pour a little bit, the pressure. I think for the next one, I'll go ahead and dial it back just a little bit so I can get 2 pulses out of the espresso machine. Yeah, I went a little too far. Yeah, I'm tasting more bitter than the sweetness of the coffee. So I think I went probably a little too far. But that's cool. You know, you always try to test the limits. You do this in anything. You do this in when you're actually doing a pour over, you kind of taste the coffee to see where it's at. And in this case, it's extremely get more bitter than anything. So I think I went a little too far, over extracted the coffee a little bit more. You can kind of tell. The machine will tell you actually if you went too far, because if it chokes, then it can't really do that. So we're at 14 grams. We're going to leave it at 14 grams, and then we'll just keep it going from there. I like 14 grams. It works out really well. There's no need for us to take half a gram out, as she said, because it works really well at 14 gram. But I went back and dialed it back, so it's a little coarser, but it's still fine. Oh, this is nice. This is going to be lovely. Yeah, that's going to be interesting to see how much different it is when I add more water. All right, let's go ahead and drink this cup of coffee. I don't know why I keep saying that. I say cup of coffee. It's not a cup of coffee. It is a cup of coffee, but it's espresso. So a shot of coffee. So cheers. Yeah, so much better. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so good. Yeah, I wouldn't change it. Perfect. 14 grams in, we're good to go. The last one we're gonna do is more water. And the way that we're gonna actually add more water, we're gonna do it through pulse. So what usually happens when you're dealing with a lever machine is that when you lift up the lever, it adds water into the vessel. So as you go down, that means that now you have that pressure. But if you lift it up again, you're able to add more water into the vessel. I don't know how much actually you really add. I guess you can weigh it out and play around with it, but it doesn't matter. That we're gonna be essentially putting more water on the grounds, and then we're gonna be pulling our final shot. Like I said, I'm enjoying this cup of coffee. I can drink this all day long. I mean, not all day long, but you get what I'm saying. This is the last one that I'll be doing with this series, this coffee and all that good stuff. Hopefully you enjoyed this. I've been having a lot of fun kind of getting it out of my head and talking it over with something else. I know ChatGPT is not a person, but it was created by people. So it has a lot of information. And it's cool to kind of play around with seeing if I'm crazy or seeing if my logic does make sense when I'm brewing a cup of coffee. So let me know what you think about this and all that good stuff, and then we'll see if we need to do it again. Now, I'm gonna leave it at this position right now, so you know that you'll see the pulses that I do with it. So you'll see the first one initially, as I did before, but you'll see me also pull back up again. Here we go. First one, wait a couple of seconds. I push down, and I'll pull up. There we go. There we go. As soon as the water or the coffee starts to brew. Because it's brewing. That's what it's doing. It's just a different form of making coffee. I don't want to go too fast. I don't want to create channeling. So it has just the right amount of pressure that I want from this cup. Here's the coffee. I liked it better as an espresso. It was fun. It was interesting. Is it my favorite? No. Is this my favorite this year? No, it's not. But that's fine. It doesn't always have to be your favorite cup of coffee. You just have to try to enjoy it for what it is. Push the limits of it. Understand what you're doing. And it's a journey, because that's the beauty of all this stuff, really. It's a journey into understanding coffee. So that's more so what we're trying to really do here. Let's go ahead and take a sip of this and we'll conclude this video. Wow. Even better. A little bit more water in there. I mean, I'm getting a little bit more acidity. Sweetness is still there. I think I do prefer it more sweet than acidic. You know, it's more balanced in a way. Yeah, it's not crazy coating my tongue either. It's really refreshing. It really is. It's really cool. I mean, stop saying really, but you get what I'm saying. I think if I let it cool, it'll get sweeter. But that's the beauty of a special shot. There's not that much left in it. It's just an ounce or two, and then you move on with your day. Move on with the moment. I think that's one of the beauties I like about espresso. It's more involved, especially with a lever machine, of what you need to do. You have to the water to temperature. That takes 20 to 30 minutes. Pulse it a couple times. Make sure the temperature is equalized. And then you start the dialing in process. You do that same thing with pour over, but espresso is more like an intimate type of thing. And then you may be rewarded, you may not. Just like any other coffee preparation method. So it can be more rewarding just because of all the things that I have to do in order to make 1 to 3 shots of coffee. The first one, for the most part, is trash until you dial it in. So let's say 1 to 2 cups of coffee. Well, that's it. You move on. That's me talking, rambling. Yeah, I was personally surprised that I enjoyed this, and it was cool to get some type of feedback and help from something. So let me know what you think about this, and we'll talk later. Bye.